Hey, how's it going, everyone? Walmart has recently released the newest member to the family, the ONN Surf 11.6-inch Tablet Pro that has a keyboard. Now, this is running Android 11, as you can tell from Google Kids Space and Entertainment Space. One thing that I that I don't really understand is where you can see back here the specs, is that it has a 1920 by 1080 resolution. Now, I'm not sure why it's 1080 because on the 10-inch tablets, it has a 1920 by 1200 display. With a larger screen, more pixels makes more sense, but having less pixels doesn't really. Granted, it's still 1080p, so we'll see how everything is. It has a 2 GHz Octa-Core processor. I'm hoping it's not the same one that the ONN 10 tablets have, or the 8-inch tablets. 64 gigs of internal storage with a microsd card slot for expansion, at least that much is standard. 4 gigs of RAM, which should be the standard these days in my opinion, and 14 hours of battery life. That tells me this has a massive battery inside, and this package is pretty heavy, so there's that. But I think it has to do with the keyboard being inside too. Yeah, like I said, this is kind of heavy. So in the box here you got some coupons from Walmart, the tablet itself, that's the side, a user guide and quick start guide, along with the wall outlet and USB Type-C cable. That's not all. In here is a keyboard with a keyboard case. That's kind of in 2 pieces, interesting. So there's this hardcover. The keyboard actually comes in 2 pieces, the keyboard itself, and this like case with the stand. The stand can be like, has a flap that lets it stand, and it's just like hard plastic. Well, actually, it feels more rubbery than just plastic, and it feels like it can actually survive a fall, and I would hope so, because this thing is pretty heavy. It feels like it weighs almost 2 pounds, like over 1.5 pounds. Really quickly, just before installing it, just a quick look around. There's the 5 megapixel rear camera on the back. It's protruding, but that's totally fine, because once it's put on the case, it's not really going to be protruding, so you won't have to worry about that. Then there's the 3.5mm headphone jack, a volume keys, power button, microphone, a microsd card slot, and the USB-C port. And this is a little hard to take out. Underneath is the 5 peg magnets to connect it to the keyboard. On the left there's nothing. On the top there's the front, or not front facing, but the speaker grills are on the top. I wish they were in the front like they did with the ONN Surf 10.1. Then another microphone and the 5 megapixel front camera in the middle. The magnets on here are pretty strong. I don't even have to align it too well, and it automatically just connects that way. You know, I feel like I'm more of a fan of keyboards that don't have a flap like this, that can just keep the screen on its own instead of this 2-piece one. I guess we'll see how it goes. Another kind of nice feature, or not feature, but like one nice thing that I noticed here is that you have the option to install the Walmart apps, these extra apps, so I'm not going to install them. Kind of nice to have that. I hope in the future ones, and moving forward, that's how it's going to be. Out of the box, there's not much bloatware here. Yeah, really just the basic Android stuff, so it feels like near stock Android. And out of the box, there's about 53 gigs available, and that should be a good amount. Went outside to take a picture or two, and the quality is a little better than I expected until you zoom in. There's nothing sharp there, but I guess it's usable. Surprisingly, you can read the street sign. I'm not going to show you that because that's going to kind of expose where I live. But yeah, not bad, I guess. Let's see how the front camera is. The front camera is really bad. I think it's worse than the rear camera. I mean, look at how slow it is just moving around. The frame rate is not smooth or anything. Yeah, definitely bad. Probably the worst front camera I've seen on a tablet. But that's not what you're here for. One thing I just noticed is that when it's closed, it stays closed or shut pretty well, because there's a magnetic piece on the keyboard here, and when you open it up, the screen opens, and then when you close it, it turns off. I've been using this for almost a week now, or at least a couple of days. I've noticed a few things. So first and foremost, this back stand is actually kind of nice because you can adjust it to a lot of angles and it'll stay in place. The downside is that this flap for the keyboard is not that good. I notice sometimes when I'm like moving it around, it just comes off. I mean, I know it's pretty strong here, but it easily comes off at certain areas. So I don't like that. And plus the brightness is not that good. I have to have it at maximum brightness to watch a video or something, to enjoy it during the daytime or even around the evening time. And battery life is also not that good. Another thing is that since I have to keep the brightness at the highest level, I really can't get that much battery life out of this. So right now I have 3 hours of on-screen time, and I've got 29% battery left. So that means I'll probably get 4, maybe 5 hours of on-screen time. Now, of course, if you're going to be using this during the nighttime or wherever it's not bright, then this will last much longer. But as I've mentioned before, I have to keep this on maximum brightness most of the time, because it just doesn't get that bright. Not to mention that this is a 1080p screen, and I would have thought that you can watch videos in full HD on Netflix and stuff, but no, this is a widevine. This has a widevine level of L3, so the only place you can watch videos at 1080 is on YouTube. Pretty disappointing to see. Doing your basic stuff, you're not really going to notice any problems. By the way, this keyboard and mouse, trackpad, and this keyboard is really nice. I mean, it's pretty simple. There's some feedback, and it's really responsive. No problems whatsoever there. Now, as I was saying before, your basic tasks, you're not really going to notice too many issues, especially with 4 gigs of RAM. You can do multitasking here. Now, one weird thing is that this is running Android 11 Go. Why did they put the Go edition out of everything? I don't understand that. I mean, this can probably run a full version of Android with the amount of RAM. Even the CPU, even though it's kind of low, which is an ARM MT8183 processor, and then the GPU is a Mali G72 MP3. So with the benchmarks, there wasn't anything too special here. The single core score was 274. I guess is that a little higher than other ones? I can't remember. And then the multi-core score was 1200. First game here is Roblox. And there are times when it really stutters and slows down when I'm looking around, just like that. And that's kind of surprising to see because, for the first few seconds or so, it was running really smooth, like when you're just going in a straight line. It's pretty smooth overall, don't notice really much lag, but looking around, things start to change. Next game, as you know it, is Genshin Impact. And this actually surprisingly works a little better. It's a little more smooth than I expected. Oddly enough, it's a little smooth. Well, I guess, there's frame rate drops here and there, and it's not completely smooth. Is it playable? I mean, I guess when you're in combat, I was doing a fight, and it was a little more laggy, so yeah, I guess not, but maybe it just passes. Well, I guess that kind of shows otherwise. But yeah, I was in a fight earlier, that's why I'm kind of mentioning it, that it seems like it can handle this, this is kind of playable, but I don't know, maybe when it gets more intensive, it might not be because of how, slow it can get or freeze up. I mean, just like right there, we're just running around, no combat or anything. But for the most part, it seems like it's fine. But Roblox was even worse. Honestly, at this price point, well, ONN just keeps on disappointing so far. I mean, it looks like, just like with the other tablets, they just slapped their name and left it as is. Even the off-brand tablets tend to perform better than this, like the Teclast. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's justifiable for the price. And at this price point, I mean, aren't there better options for 2-in-1s if that's what you're looking for? Or even a Chromebook, because there are cheaper Chromebook alternatives to this. And I might check out a Chromebook too, because maybe it's time, because those things are relatively cheap and might even perform better than this. I mean, don't hold me accountable on that, and take that with a grain of salt, because I have not used it personally, but maybe someday soon I will. So be sure to subscribe for that, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching.